Last we left off, we were starting the Dana Point Yacht Club Thirsty Thursday beer can race. Amadeus was slightly ahead of us at the start, and here they are, rounding the windward mark, still ahead. Here we are approaching the leeward mark with Amadeus inside of us and slightly ahead. I'm watching here to see if Amadeus is going to do a tight rounding, leaving a gap between them and the mark that we might be able to fit into and to get to windward of them for the next leg. Nope, no gap. Thankfully, after rounding the leeward mark, Amadeus went straight for the next mark, which was a reach, and left us room to get to windward of them. They're still on our lee bow, which is one area where there's dirty air, but we're able to get up and into our own clear air and finally get alongside and ahead of them. All that said, you have to be careful what you wish for when you don't know the course. Here we are, asking for directions.
Where are we going? If we get lost, I might drop behind you.
We did eventually find the next mark, rounded it to port, and then headed in to tack our way up the channel to the yacht club where the finish line is. Now when I say tack our way up the channel, I don't mean 2, 3 tacks. I mean 8 tacks, at least. Here are the last 4, which left Ira and I entirely gassed. We walked away from this race, and the one that we did this year, saying, we're never ever going to do this race ever again. It's a ton of fun, but this is a lot of tacks to get all the way up to the finish line at the yacht club at the top of the channel. And if I can remind you of some of the core tenets of life, always tip your bartender and always thank your race committee. After spending a bit of time in Dana Point, we made our way over to Catalina Island and started the true vacation. While we were in Catalina Island, and White's Cove in particular, we stumbled upon the Long Point Race Week. This is a race from Newport Beach to White's Cove on a Friday, from Long Point to Ship Rock and back on Saturday, and a race from Catalina Island back to Newport on Sunday. It's an invitational put on by Newport Harbor Yacht Club, and it draws some pretty amazing boats. Here's Pyewacket crossing the screen now. It also drew a class of TP52s and a number of other really wonderful high-performance race boats. It may also be worth mentioning at this point, with all the clicking noise going on in the background, that my wife Ira is a professional yacht racing photographer and does this as a living. This was a wonderful thing to happen upon, and she got some wonderful shots. After rounding Ship Rock and coming back downwind, everything glassed off. This was a ton of fun driving our boat through a giant pack of high-performance race boats as they sat there looking for any hint of breeze they could find to get ahead of their competitors, who were all packed around them tightly. The trip from Catalina Island to San Diego has to be one of the most enjoyable trips I've had in a very long time. We had 15 knots off our starboard quarter, 70-degree weather, we set a Spinnaker, and we had great speed the entire way from Catalina all the way down to San Diego. It was a ton of fun.
Fishy, fishy!
Here we are setting up for a maneuver called a stretch and douse. You tighten the spinnaker in as much as you can along the foot to tuck it in behind the mainsail. You drive the boat down, and then you usually release the tack line and release the halyard, allowing the spinnaker to come in underneath the boom. As you can tell, we did it entirely wrong. We stretched the foot, sucked the spinnaker in behind the mainsail, and then dropped the halyard, allowing the spinnaker to fall on deck, still with the tack forward. But thankfully, with so little wind, it didn't really matter. It was a great end to a wonderful sail from Catalina down to San Diego. I hope you enjoyed this video of our sailing adventures in Southern California during the summer of 2022. Thanks for watching.